Reminiscing on the 2014 debut album Goddess by the American singer-songwriter Banks, one can easily admire her ambition in making a statement on the music scene, dropping an almost 1 hour in length album that felt like a competitor to that of whom so many people saw as her British counterpart, FKA Twigs, and her debut album LP1. However, ambition doesn't always equate in a great album, as Goddess came off as too ambitious for its own good, primarily wallowing in a turgid, brooding state that became a real chore to endure, with lyrics that felt underwritten and lacked a certain lasting impact, even after repeated listens. And when you consider that a portion of the songs from Goddess came from previously released EPs, which had the misfortune of making the album feel somewhat inconsistent, that wasn't a good sign. Skip forward 2 years later, and this time, Banks seems to have hit her stride much better with her sophomore release, The Altar, maintaining the electronic production of her debut, as well as the dark aura that plagued too much of said album. But here, the instrumentation and production seems to have lightened up slightly and has become more focused and pleasing to the ear. Embraces some elements of trap-style hip-hop and even a couple of acoustic, organic moments that give this album the correct amount of light and shade that the debut desperately needed. Even the vocal delivery seemed to have improved. Whilst many vocal performances are either layered or filtered and auto-tuned, tracks like the acoustic guitar-led Mother Earth, which taps into thoughts and feelings of depression that Banks experienced during her younger years and similar feelings arising after giving birth, and the ballad To the Hilt, where she laments a breakup which has left her creatively bankrupt, both register as her best vocal performances. Although some tracks such as This Is Not About Us, Judas, Poltergeist, and to a certain degree Gemini Feed can hinder these songs' appeal, where Banks' vocals have either been pitch shifted or altered in a way that comes off as unattractive, Gemini Feed manages to escape this hindrance and comes off as not only a strong open to the album, but also as one of the better tracks on the album. The heavy bassline and electronic production with the added male backing vocals lends themselves solidly to the song, which deals with an emotionally manipulative ex-boyfriend. But Banks not only proves that she's more than capable of being a tough cookie, but she also portrays her vulnerable side solidly as well. The trap, hip-hop Fuck With Myself, which highlights Banks' acceptance about how she can be her own best friend as well as being her own worst enemy, balances minimalism and spaciousness terrifically, and the whispered delivery of the final So I Fuck With Myself More Than Anybody Else at the end of the hook sends shivers down the spine and is the right shade of dark whilst also maintaining a glimmer of light. Weaker Girl sees her denounce some man who seems angered by the fact that she's no longer this timid and fragile woman she once was, but is now confident and defiant and is in need of someone who is as strong as she is. And Mind Games sees Banks letting someone go after becoming tired of trying to save a flagging relationship. In almost every single way, Banks has learned from the mistakes of her debut outing and has concentrated her efforts into creating material that has a much longer lasting impact, has more emotional resonance, and delivers songs that feel real rather than contrived and melodramatic. And the vocal performances has come on leaps and bounds despite a handful of tracks that do make for an unwelcoming listen. Nevertheless, it really does warm the heart when you see an artist with an immense amount of potential coming through with something that shows glimmers of what they're capable of. Banks definitely has more in the tank, and with a bit more sprucing, her third project may be even better than this one.